Real estate agents. This is another important profession. People earn lots of money, and there are many businessmen who are involved in buying and selling property, both built houses as well as land. There are huge amounts involved in this business, and as is always the case, if the amounts are huge, if the funds that are available to be earned are big, then there is always a temptation for foul play to play a big role. So all real estate agents who are both God-fearing as well as morally upright should be particularly careful that they are doing things which are absolutely correct and right. One of the problems that could arise is the question of correct information and the question of margins. Obviously, whether it's a piece of land or it's a property, when it is made available to be sold to a prospective buyer, he or she should be given correct information. If it's a property, if it's a building, the age, the quality. If it's land, then who has been the owner of it, and what quality of land is it, and so on. Information plays a very important role. When somebody is selling a product, there is always a temptation that the information provided is exaggerated so that the other person is tempted into buying it. But that's where morality plays an important role. So what information is provided is what would decide whether a person is morally reliable, good or not. Likewise, there is the question of margins. Quite often, the real estate agents, they get a margin from the total price involved from both buyers and sellers. They should get margin which is reasonable in the market and should give correct information about the margin and should calculate it correctly. Quite often, naive, simple customer gets deceived by clever manipulations of real estate agents. So it's extremely important that whatever is bought and whatever is sold is done in a manner that the client, the customer, is not kept in the dark, and what is bought and sold is done in a proper manner. There is always this problem in our country, unfortunately, where the issue of title is quite often a problem that people confront. Because the amount is big, the real estate owners, agents, do not disclose the fact that at times the title of the land or the property is in dispute. Because if a customer comes to learn about it, he or she might not be particularly impressed and therefore not buy it. But the disclosure of the title is absolutely important. One must never forget the fact that if property belongs to one person, is sold by giving an impression that it belongs to somebody else, then it's a lie, it's a big crime which needs to be always avoided. Then there are issues of zakat and taxes when it comes to real estate business. As the real estate agents have with them in their stocks sometimes land, sometimes property, which can run into millions and millions of rupees. And of course, if you start calculating the zakat of it, it can be a huge amount. So the real estate agents should be aware of the fact that when they are doing this business, they should do it in a manner that on the one hand, they are being ethically correct, and on the other hand, if there are religious implications, they too have to be fully satisfied. Taxation is another area where they have to be absolutely honest. They should disclose the business results that they have achieved in a manner that they are not lying, they are not cheating anybody. And then obviously there is this question as to what is the amount of the sale proceeds that has been agreed upon. Quite often, unfortunately, the amount that is earned is not the amount that is disclosed, which is a clear lie. So that needs to also be sorted out. And for a real estate agent, if he or she feels that by disclosing the correct amount, probably the person is going to be out of the business because there are others who are cheating as well. Well, the least that they can do is to convince as much as is possible others to come to a compromise and understanding that they are not going to go for dirty competition wherein people are not disclosing the correct real price of the property or the real estate or the land that they are selling in order to make sure that the total tax that is paid is lesser and the amount that they are going to earn as a consequence, they themselves and their clients are going to pay as taxes, is going to be favorable for them. Obviously, making false statements because of the temptation that the tax to be paid is low or the revenues generated are higher is in itself an immoral thing to do and therefore needs to always be avoided.